Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Montego Bay Marine Lab. We will be doing a presentation on World Conservation Day. I myself, Nicole Denton Tomlin, Athalia Thomas, Alwyn Smith, Brian Brown, and Andre Bryan. Now sit back and relax, and I hope that you learn a great deal today.
Okay, students. Quiet down for me, please. All right, so we've made it to the Montego Bay Marine Park. Welcome, everybody. I am happy that we all made it out to this field trip today. And today is International Mangrove Conservation Day. So the whole purpose why we're here is because about mangroves, right? Just before we leave the bus, let us go over some of our objectives for this lesson today as were discussed in our previous class based on our syllabus or our course objectives, right? So, the purpose of why we are here today is that before we leave here, we should be able as students to identify different species of mangroves in Jamaica and other parts of the Caribbean. We should be able to explain the ecological roles of mangroves in protecting our coastal ecosystems, as well as to analyze threats towards mangroves and their global significance, to discuss strategies and global efforts that are put in place for mangrove conservation. All right, so everybody, take only the resources that you'll be needing while you exit the bus, which should include your cameras, your cell phones, to take pictures, of course, your pens and pencils, and of course, your notepads, right? And as usual, guys, be on your very best behavior and let us head on up to meet Miss Thomas and her team on this International Mangrove Conservation Day.
Welcome, students. Welcome, all teachers. Welcome to the Montego Bay Marine Lab International Day for the Conservation of the Mangrove Ecosystem. Today, students, you should be learning what is a mangrove, the threats of the mangrove that the mangrove ecosystem might face, along with many other solutions in preserving our mangrove ecosystem. So let's head on right into our presentation. Firstly, what is a mangrove? Trees and bushes are known as mangrove that are found along the tropical and subtropical coasts where land meets water. They are specially suited to live in brackish waters that are occasionally inundated by tides and low oxygen or salty soil. The mangrove falls under two groups currently, the fauna and the flora. One might ask, what is the mangrove fauna? The mangrove fauna can be separated in over many residents, such as the aquatic animals, fishes, amphibians, semi-aquatic animals, reptiles, amphibians, and birds. They also include terrestrial animals depending on their living habitats of the mammals and birds. What is the mangrove forest flora? Another might ask. This consists of over 50 species. We'll be looking at 4 of the species going forward in our presentation. In the meantime, I would ask Mrs. Tomlin to hand out the brochures to you all.
Good morning again, guys. Each of you can take one of the brochures that are available. Along the presentation, you can just take a look at your brochures because there's information on there that you can relate to as we proceed.
Okay, to continue. What are the characteristics of a mangrove? A few of the characteristics from the mangrove ecosystem are its prop roots, which emerge from the lower trunk of the mangrove trees. This provides the impression that the trees are elevated above the sea. The plants are better able to endure the daily tides thanks to these roots. The ecosystem, which is a special kind of wetland ecosystem, causes the mangroves to shield the coastlines from flooding, storms, and erosion. To continue, they also offer the young marine creatures a secure nursery. Let's get into the four species of mangroves that we're looking at today. These are the red mangrove, the black mangrove, buttonwood green mangrove, and the mangrove tea. The red mangrove, or the Rhizophora mangle, is a small to medium-sized salt-tolerant evergreen tree that is only found in the coastal estuarine habitats in the southern region of North America, the Caribbean, Central America, and tropical West Africa. The black mangrove, or the Avicennia germinus. This is a small tree or shrub that can reach a height of 12 meters, and it belongs to the Acanthaceae family or Acanthus. Number 3, we have the buttonwood green mangrove and is sometimes referred to as the buttonwood or button mangrove. Finally, we have the mangrove tea, which is a less frequent species of the mangrove that grows in stands of Nicaragua, Panama, and Colombia, as well as the Pacific coast from the Gulf of Nicoya in the Costa Rica to the Esmeraldas River in Ecuador. Here should be depicting the four species of mangroves that I mentioned just now. I will now hand over to my colleague, Mrs. Tomlin.
Thanks, Miss Thomas. Good afternoon again, everyone. I hope that we are all learning so far. I hope we do have some future marine biologists in our session today. Now, we will definitely continue into our presentation. On screen presently, you can see where we'll be diving into threats that we have to our mangrove system. One of the major threats that we have is deforestation, sorry. All right, so in the past 50 years, more than 25% of mangrove forests have been lost due to urbanization, aquaculture, and agriculture. Extraction of resources that is not sustainable. Mangroves are exploited for firewood, charcoal manufacturing, small scale farming, fish spots, yam sticks, and construction. So there's also one major threat to our mangrove ecosystem is climate change, and we should all know what climate change is. So climate change, there's a lot of things that result from climate change. One such thing is natural disaster. And when we speak about natural disaster, we're referring to hurricane, we're referring to earthquakes, and we know that we're referring to drought as well. And we know that when we have drought or excess rain, it causes damage to farmlands, and it also causes damage to our ecosystem because we have a rise in sea